Morning, St. Francis. It is Tuesday, May the 4th, 2021, and that's as close to a Star Wars reference as you're going to get from me on this day. It is Tuesday of the 5th week of Easter. It is the 31st day of Easter. Coming to you once again from the Great Green Slope, which is behind the community center over here. Sun rays coming over the community center today. Siena Hall is right over there. Behind me is the labyrinth with our grove of pine trees. Blue Carolina sky today. It's going to be about 90 degrees. Maybe the humidity will be a little bit low. And there's our chapel with the carillon. In today's first reading, we go back to Acts of the Apostles. And Paul is hard at work, preaching the gospel to all places, especially in Asia Minor, other cities in the Eastern Mediterranean. Because of his preaching, they try to stone him. And he basically ends up looking like he's dead. His apostles, his other missionaries gather around him thinking that he's dead, but he gets back up again and continues preaching. Again, Paul's resilience, even in the midst of people not wanting to hear the message that he has to give. And realize that it is a message that is not based, in the Acts of the Apostles at least, on sin, on sinning, on sinfulness, on all these other kinds of things that unfortunately some of the letters of St. Paul seem to focus on. No, it's just about the gospel. It's about the life that comes from the gospel, because Jesus did not preach sin and sin and sin and sin. And so what Paul offers is life. And again, authorities at his time are not happy with that life that Paul is offering because it contradicts their control and their power. And so again, they try to stone him to get rid of him. But again, his resilience remains, and he continues on throughout the Eastern Mediterranean preaching the good news. In John's Gospel today, we're still at the Last Supper in John's Gospel. Jesus now talks about peace, and offering the apostles at that Last Supper a peace that the world cannot give, cannot understand, cannot ever hope to fathom. But it's a peace that comes from Christ. It's a peace that allows us to persevere. It allows us to continue to do good. It allows us to continue to achieve what it is that God sets out for us to achieve in this world. Which is again why Jesus says, I must go to the Father, because you have work to do. It can't all just be me. It has to be you and me working within you and giving you that peace to succeed. Another affirmation of the fact that we are this image and creation of God, equipped with the ability to do great things in this world, to continue to further and deepen the message of Christ. Remember always, Jesus only had 3 years to do what he was able to do. The rest of history is in one way left up to us, as we are empowered by the Spirit, as we are empowered by Christ, to remain the people who are faithful to what it is that God promises in this world, and to spread that faithfulness and the truth of that promise to others. Lent is a time for focusing on sinning. Lent is a time for focusing on what are our limits. Lent is a time for focusing on perhaps on what we can't do. Easter is the time now to become limitless, to become boundless in what we are able to achieve and what we are able to further and foster in this world, because we are people who dare to believe that God's promises can be fulfilled. May that always be not just an Easter promise for us, but a promise that we live every day, every year, every moment of our lives. In that promise, may we succeed in furthering the mission, in furthering the good news, in furthering the gospel. A blessed Easter, St. Francis. May the Lord continue to give you his peace.